Have you ever just watched an animal and wondered why? Why does a dog chase its tail? Or why does a cat need a blanket like it's making biscuits? Well, the answer isn't just some big mystery. It's physiology. It's this incredibly complex, hidden machinery of nerves and hormones all working together. So today, let's pull back the curtain and really explore what makes animals tick.
I mean, just look at this cat, right? On the surface, we see curiosity, maybe even a little bit of sass. But what is actually happening on the inside? What electrical signals are zipping around? What chemicals are flowing through its body to create this very specific look, this exact behavior? And that's a question we can ask about literally any animal, whether it's your own pet curled up on the couch or the birds you see outside your window.
So in this explainer, we are going to go under the hood. We're moving beyond just watching what animals do, and we're going to try to understand the biological systems that actually drive those actions. And believe it or not, it all boils down to a pretty simple but really powerful three-step process.
Okay, so this is the key. Every single behavior, and I mean every behavior, from a tiny little flinch to an elaborate mating dance, it all follows this fundamental chain of events. First, there's a stimulus, maybe a sound, a smell, a flash of light. Then, that signal gets integrated. It gets processed by the animal's internal command centers. And only then do we see the response, the action itself. So let's start with the fastest of those systems.
Think of the nervous system as the body's high-speed electrical grid. This is the network that's all about rapid-fire communication and immediate, split-second action.
Right, so when an animal is faced with a threat, there is absolutely no time to sit and think about it. The nervous system fires off these tiny electrochemical signals in just milliseconds. This is what's behind that classic fight-or-flight response, getting an animal ready to either defend itself or get out of there in the blink of an eye. And sometimes it's so fast the brain doesn't even get the memo until after it's already happened.
And a perfect example of this incredible speed is the reflex arc. You can think of this as a life-saving shortcut. Let's say a dog steps on something sharp. A receptor in its paw detects the stimulus. That signal zips up a sensory neuron, hits the spinal cord, and a command is fired right back down a motor neuron to the leg muscle. The result? The paw is pulled back instantly, way before the brain even has time to register, "Ouch, that hurt."
But of course, not all behaviors are about those lightning-fast reactions. The body has a second, totally parallel control system. And here's the best way to think about it. If the nervous system is like sending a text message, it's super fast, direct, and gets to the point, then the endocrine system is more like sending a letter in the mail. It's a whole lot slower, it uses chemical messengers, and its effects can last for a really long time.
So let's talk about those slow messengers. The endocrine system works using these chemical signals called hormones. They travel through the bloodstream looking for specific cells to deliver their message to. And this process shapes behavior over hours, days, or even entire seasons. It regulates pretty much everything from growth to some of the most profound behaviors we see in the animal kingdom.
And just look at the kind of power these hormones have. Oxytocin, for instance, is absolutely essential for that powerful bond between a mother and her newborn. You see this really clearly in sheep and cattle. Testosterone is what drives aggression and dominance behaviors in animals like bulls or stallions. Estrogen signals sexual receptivity. Cortisol levels can tell us how stressed an animal is. And adrenaline? Well, that's the chemical that actually kicks off the fight-or-flight response we were just talking about. See how it all connects?
So, we've seen how hormones work inside an animal's body to control things. But what if an animal could send a chemical message to another animal? Well, they can. And that's where we get into the absolutely fascinating world of pheromones, a silent, invisible language that has a huge impact on behavior.
At its core, that's what a pheromone is. It's a specialized chemical signal. You can almost think of them as external hormones that can communicate all sorts of things from, "Hey, I'm ready to mate," all the way to "Danger, everyone run." They are a fundamental, if invisible, part of how so many animals, especially our domestic animals, navigate their social lives.
You've probably seen a horse or maybe even your own cat make this kind of funny-looking face before. This is called the phlegm response. What the animal is doing is pulling air into a special sensory organ to get a better read on the pheromones floating around, especially the ones related to reproduction. It's literally tasting the air to get social information. How cool is that?
And the messages they send are incredibly diverse. Sex pheromones are all about attracting mates. Think of a female dog in heat. Alarm pheromones can instantly warn an entire flock of sheep that a predator is nearby. Territorial pheromones, like when a cat rubs its face on you or your furniture, or when a dog urinates to mark its spot, are all about claiming space.
And maternal pheromones are crucial for helping, say, a lamb find its specific mom in a huge crowded flock.
Okay, so we've got a fast electrical system and a slower chemical system. We've got internal signals and external ones. The real magic, though, is when all of this complex machinery comes together to produce the most important behaviors of all, the ones for survival and for passing on their genes.
Take sexual behavior, for example. It's not just a simple on-off switch. It's more like a symphony. An animal's hormonal state has to be just right, its past experiences, what it's learned, that all plays a huge role. And it's all triggered by external cues, smells like pheromones, visual signals from a potential mate, even things like noise levels and the location. Everything has to line up.
And we see the exact same thing with maternal behavior. A mother's response to her newborn isn't some automatic program. No, it's this delicate dance between internal factors like her hormone levels, remember oxytocin, and her own genetics, combined with the powerful external stimuli of her baby, like its unique smell and its sounds. All of these different inputs have to work together perfectly.
So, let's just quickly recap the big ideas here. Remember that all behavior follows that three-step path: stimulus, integration, response. You've got the nervous system acting as a high-speed messenger for immediate action. You've got the endocrine system providing slower, long-term control through hormones. And finally, you have pheromones acting as this rich, secret language that shapes how animals interact with each other.
So now, when you look at an animal, your dog, a horse in a field, that cat on the fence, you're not just seeing an action anymore. You're seeing the final product of an incredible biological orchestra. You're seeing that hidden machinery hard at work. The next time you see an animal do something weird or wonderful, ask yourself, what was the stimulus? And what amazing combination of systems is working inside to create that beautiful, complex response?